talk about the kingdom.
Wow, wow, hello, we're back. We are still here on
Let's Talk Kingdom Music.
with my two wonderful co-hosts and excellent artist management consultant, Mr. Godwin. I don't know.
Don't pronounce the last name, please.
Mr. Godwin.
Just we are okay with Mr. Godwin.
Godwin.
We don't want to.
I said
We don't
it
want
right.
to break table.
Mr.
Please.
Godwin.
Yeah.
Is there any way I can say it like
No,
in Nigeria?
No, you can say it like a Nigerian.
Say
I like
it.
the way you say
Mr.
it. I like
Godwin.
Mr. Godwin. Okay,
I prefer
so
your pronunciation. Really.
Hey, don't break your word table. Godwin, we will see how. Don't worry now. All right.
So before we went on the break, he was actually telling us you were the one that asked the question, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
They answer they are not supportive.
Okay.
Yeah, basically,
So you still remember where you are?
Yeah. So I was talking about being an asset and not a liability.
Right.
Not that everything will run smoothly in the journey. There are times when, as an artist manager, you also fall short because you're a human being and you may have internal stuff you're going through.
Yes, sir.
But it's important to prioritize your job and know that at every time, your artist is important. And when you manage more than one artist, it's important to know who is number one.
Oh, so you still have the preference?
Because
I think it depends on the relationship, right?
beyond the relationship, you should prioritize. You should have an hierarchy. The reason is because it's. I can see all of you opening your mouth.
Mr.
The reason is because
Mr. Gordon, sorry.
Yeah.
Before you, let me get this.
Yeah.
The Bible said they cannot serve two masters. Sorry, let me land on. They cannot serve
He
two
likes
masters.
to pray.
It's either you love
the
one.
pastor.
Are you with your Bible?
I've seen his tie and
It's
shoes.
either you love one and hate the other.
Yeah.
Now, if you say, because this what you just said now, I reflect on that about some months ago, years ago. So that we call if I need an artist for a program,
Yep.
when I make a call, maybe the management they have about 5 big known artists. I begin to wonder if I call, will they suggest to me pick this one and this one? Now, if you are running a management for like 30 different artists, like you just said now, you should know the one that is. So, is there any way you have suggested that maybe somebody I need Mr. A, and also that is not available? Can you go for Mr. B? Why Mr. A is available?
So my role usually is don't mix the businesses.
Okay.
And my guiding scripture for doing more than one business is the parable of the talent. The Bible says he took from the guy that had one and gave it to one that had 10. So ordinarily, in my thinking, my understanding is that the average individual can run 11 businesses successfully.
Right.
So it depends on your revelation of that. So it means I can work with 30 people and there won't be conflicts. So for every call, for every artist, there is a call line, there is a process. Of course, there is an official line or official email, then there is my contact. Right? I do not mix it together. If you want okay, I won't tell you go for Mike Stokie. If you want Minister Preye Ode, I won't tell you go for
Okay.
Do you understand?
So each of them have their own phone line.
Yes, they have numbers. You have email. But of course, my numbers are everywhere, so they can reach me. But it's important not to. Most artists do that, right? They'll tell you this person is not available. Maybe they're even having a hard time with this person. They'll say, why not go for this person?
Yes.
But I don't do that. I don't think it's right.
Yes.
So for in this business, you need integrity.
Yes, sir.
Right? And when you start lacking in that dimension, it becomes a problem because the person trusting their talent and their skills and their ministry with you are also taking a huge risk.
So how do you manage the hierarchical area of your artists? Like you say, you have 30 artists, and then
I don't have 30 yet.
No, I know. I'm just saying, you will have it. So, but what I'm saying, going by what you just said, like when you have like 30 artists you manage, and that you does somebody among the 30, you put on the top priority or something.
In terms of their engagement and their work rate, you can tell who is where to start with, right? And also, who did you start working with first?
Right.
Who did you cut your path with, your table with? Who did you cut it with? It's important not to forget. Now, most times as we grow, we forget the people that helped us through the way, through the journey. It's like when I first went to Alaba, the first guy I saw was John Wells. No, one of the first people I went to see was John Wells.
Congratulations.
Now, so I have grown through the journey, and there's a tendency not to need him anymore.
You don't need him
because
you need
I have
me, not him.
There's a tendency not to need John Wells, not to need Emirate. It's possible that I got their contact through one another, right? But as you grow, you must understand that each person played a role, and you must respect that role. Right. You must let them know they are valuable and whatever they did for you to that point. Because somebody helped you cut your teeth. Right. And while you were cutting your teeth, that person had to be patient. And you went through a lot. So you understand that and give that person that priority. It doesn't mean these other guys, their jobs will suffer. Right. This wants to get 100%. So for instance, there are times when in the beginning of the year, you have to plan each person's plan for the year. You sit down, you think for this artist. You already know his vision. You know what he's trying to do. And you push in that dimension. So there's constant conversation about what you want to achieve, what you are doing right now. Also, sometimes the artists also don't communicate. There are times when the artist brings up surprises on you and just tell you we're releasing this song tomorrow, or you just see coming soon.
Yeah.
I think that's a lack of understanding.
Yeah, so you don't feel bad about that. You just jump on the train and pick up from wherever. But it's not often that you find that among when you work with artists, but these things are.
So, Mr. Godwin, let me ask one question. Tell what you just said now. About you have many actors, the one that is well and other stuff. I know if you want to relate it to some of the record label, and they are having issues with their artists. Now, there are some record label that focus more attention to some artists, on one artist. And the rest will be feeling as if they are not important. And at the end, they now find out that even most the artists they focus on will now be the one to say, you don't rate me, you don't chop me. Now you want to fall back to. So how do you manage, or how do you feel, or have you had any challenges like that when some of the artists are feeling they are not too important?
Like you're neglecting them.
Yeah, and they are focusing your attention.
So there's always a time when somebody will feel like you are being distracted, you are not paying attention to me.
Yes.
Most times this is not caused because you are working with someone else. But the artist, so people will interpret what you're going through and what you express based on their view of things and their conclusions. If you do not communicate, that conclusion becomes their thought and a system. So you have allowed it. So from time to time, it's not always also easy to communicate, but you try to communicate. Now, I have a friend that runs a label, and I do stuff with him, and I know that sometimes this artist feels you are not paying attention to me, you are paying attention to this.
Yes.
But it's simple. I won't name the name, but there's a secular artist that was made to wait for 2 years before his song ever came out.
After they have signed him?
Yes. He was signed, he was recording, he was working, and nobody listened to his song. And it was this artist that were in that label that were telling me about. We were driving to somewhere for an interview, and they were telling me about it. And I was even arguing, I had to go and read it. Now, this artist waited for his time. Today, his song is everywhere within the short space of time because the owners of the label knew what they wanted him, and they felt like he needed a unique sound. And at that time, he did not possess that sound. He was trying to be everybody. Even in gospel music, we have there are genres that are empty. We don't have too many people in the rap genre. We don't have too many people giving us party songs and things to dance with. Everybody wants to worship and speak in tongues. There are so many tongues in the song than the song itself. Right? we don't have people taking their time to create. So there are spaces that are empty, but everybody is falling into. We have a young, vibrant generation, the Gen Z. How do we fill in the other space when they are done speaking in tongues and lifting hands?
What happened?
How do we fill in the other space where they go to club and dance because there's a vacuum? Only few artists fill up that space. And once they get to a point, they run out of Nigeria, you don't see them again. They release a song once in a while.
And guess what?
Mm.
Those artists you're talking about, when they start, it's the same church folks that will say it's not born again. They're
Yeah,
not born again.
I can relate to that. Because I started music with
Because they
rapping.
believe in Nigeria, they believe so a Christian song must be only worship and praise.
No, I think that we have moved from that point. I started when I first sang in church, I rapped. I could from JS3 you could hit the table and I'll just begin. I and one of my friends, Samuel. So I did it in church one day and they asked us to watch the toilet for 1 week. so I've been there and I know that. But my team went on to be a very busy team and we continued until the church accepted that music. And it was a tool, an outreach tool for the church eventually. Because we now started having a concert that people come for. And we bring people that can sing Fuji, that can do all sorts of things. And it happens. Just that I think the industry defines people. So the need to be relevant makes people leave the core of what they are called to do.
Right.
That's why I was saying, talking about having a vision, something to guide you, not necessarily the way it's sounding. Just write down something that says, this is what I'm trying to achieve with my life with this thing. Then it guides you and helps you not to do everything. I would not do well singing reggae songs. I may not do well right now as if you bring me to a praise concert and tell me to sing, I'll try, but I'll fall your hand. Because it's not my space. So if I have an opportunity and take on the mic, I will not go that route. And no artist should try and be all things to all men when it comes to music. Focus on your key. We have seen artists recently moving from one point to another because they want to stay, and it's okay. But we need a group of people that can fill up the spaces. There's so much spaces in the gospel music scene that is looking for help. If not, these guys will move from church, go to the other places. We can badmouth them all we want. But before you know it, these other guys support their folks more. And the tendency for them to do well is there. And the church grooms you for very good music. Because you rehearse for free, keyboardists will play for free, drums will play, you know how to go with beats. All those things are free rehearsals that the average secular artist coming up on the street may not have access to. He just wants to go to the studio, hear a beat, and say he's vibing to it. But foundation of music in church helps you do better.
Talking about helping, you understand, helping someone to grow. How do an artist get manager or record label?
So the first thing I tell the upcoming artists that have approached me is that you don't need a manager. Yes.
Okay, you don't need a manager yet.
Upcoming.
Because, see, let's do it this way. Let's say your artist is charging X amount for events, for those that charge. Even those that do not charge, they give them honorarium. And the thing used to make sense.
Sometimes it makes sense that the
Okay. So let's say they give you 5 naira, right? From that 5 naira that you have, there is the need to pay the manager a fee. And 5 naira is small, right? You have a team of people that perform with you, your musicians, your singers, you pay them. Your artist, your manager decides to be business-like and says my commission for this is 10% or 20% or whatever percentage, depending on your conversation. It takes a chunk of that money. Your band members, as we know, sometimes band members are very, very tough. They tell you, bros, for this gig, you pay us also amount. I will not come and you won't go, so you pay them. By the time you finish, sometimes you are left with 2 naira or less. What you need at that time, and I do a lot of very free pro bono consultations for young artists. I tell them what they need, I look out for them and all that. Because when you go all out looking for manager, you should be accessible when you are starting. People should not want to reach you and they are calling 2 numbers to get to you. You never reach that point. It will come. We all grew to a point where you can come. Some years ago, I would have sat here and be speaking all this grammar. But I had grown in it, so I can easily talk about it. I think the foundation is we need to work, and build something that people can see. A time will come, you will have someone to manage. And sometimes you don't need a big manager. You need somebody within your team that believes so much in you, that can carry your dream in your head and go all out to market you. That person, if you find that person, have a conversation with that person. See if that person will agree to take calls for you and manage you.
Do you hear that?
That is the person to
Do
just
you hear that?
support
This is
you,
wonderful.
your career in other way, or in other words, rather, the person to support your musical career for free for now. That's what I try to tell us.
It's free for now, but both of you are building.
Building. Not that after you are building, you now dump the person.
Yeah.
Let's say that on air. In case you're an artist, you see somebody who are helping you free. Now, not when you have getting that name, now say,
So
I don't
you
know.
So the reason why sometimes the artist will leave the person is because the person has refused to evolve.
That's what I wanted. That's one thing I wanted to say earlier when you talk about
Involve in it after. Sorry, involve in it after.
You
and
grow.
that's what I'm
You need to
I wanted to
grow.
ask
You grow with the system. You read. You open up your mind. You listen to conversations. You find yourself in spaces where things that have to do with what you are doing is being talked about. You understand. If you have a number of someone, you ask, how do you people do this? If you want your song on a particular station and you can't get it, you find a way to go there. If you can't go there, you find somebody to help you. You are open. You can't just be laid back because we are all growing.
That's what I wanted to say earlier. I don't know if my time is. We're going on a break every time soon. But okay, let's take a short break, and when I come back, I will continue what you were saying right now because I wanted to make a comment earlier, but I wanted to let you finish. So we're going on commercial break, and stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Are you not enjoying this? We'll be back.
It is inspiring.
Gifts is just like a support to a man's call.
It is educating.
Understand where God has called you to function.
It is dramatic.
Like your work too. You people.
Join us every Sunday for an intriguing moment on the following channels: Go TV Channel 140, Free TV Channel 505, Terrestrial UHF 42, Star Times Channel 130. Time, 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Visit www.letstalkkingdommusic.com. You can also download all Princess K's songs from the website. Subscribe and follow us on our channel and social media handles, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. For sponsorship and advert placement, please call 070-640-54983, 0815-323-1363. Let's Talk Kingdom Music.
Let's talk about the kingdom. Yeah.